When you imagine a black bear encounter, you probably picture a remote hiking trail or a quiet cabin in the woods. You don't usually picture them walking under downtown traffic lights. But across New England, the traditional boundaries between wilderness and city limits are collapsing. Recently, a young black bear was tracked galloping through downtown Worcester, Massachusetts, casually scaling retaining walls right next to a local high school. Looking at major infrastructure like this highway interchange, we can see the exact borders these animals are crossing. Driven by a rapidly growing population, black bears are steadily migrating eastward, pushing past heavily trafficked corridors like Interstate 495. State wildlife agencies are reporting a massive surge in sightings as these expanding bear territories collide with densely populated human developments. These encounters have moved from the remote woods to the suburban lawn, requiring residents to change how they manage their properties and their safety. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the regional data, starting with Maine. Maine is home to a massive population of roughly 25,000 to 27,000 black bears. But because the state offers vast, uninterrupted natural wilderness, residential conflicts remain incredibly low. This comparative chart reveals a massive statistical anomaly just a few states away. On the left, Maine's towering bear population generates a tiny fraction of neighborhood incidents. On the right, Connecticut hosts a tiny population of just 1,000 to 1,200 bears, yet those 1,000 bears account for more than 3,000 human-bear conflicts in a single year. State data breaks this down into high rates of property damage, missing pets, and even direct home entries. One major variable driving this disparity is policy. Connecticut does not host a bear hunting season, removing a mechanism that neighboring states use to artificially curb dense animal populations. Curious, the data shows a massive imbalance. 1,000 bears in one state are causing significantly more damage than 25,000 bears in another, leaving one to wonder what exactly is drawing them out of the woods. A black bear's year relies on a very predictable biological calendar. When they emerge from hibernation in the spring, their immediate survival depends on foraging across a dense natural forest floor for early vegetation. However, recent data shows milder, shorter winters have broken that historical timeline. Theirs are now waking up nearly 2 weeks earlier than historical averages. They emerge intensely hungry, but the forest isn't ready for them. A total scarcity of natural spring foods, like early berries and leftover acorns, leaves them starving. To survive, they have no choice but to drastically expand their daily foraging radius. Climate shifts have altered the bears' internal clocks, physically pushing them to the edges of human borders in a desperate search for calories. Look at this aerial view of a typical New England town. Dense suburban housing is built right up against the surrounding woodlands. When a starving bear crosses that tree line, a specific biological mechanic takes over: their impeccable spatial memory. To a bear, a neighborhood maps out as a geometric grid of highly concentrated, easy-to-access calories. When a bear successfully scores a meal, it permanently logs that exact location. Its spatial memory guarantees it will return to that specific yard again and again. This brings us back to the Connecticut data. The state's geography consists of developed suburbs densely woven into heavily wooded valleys. It provides the perfect, inescapable foraging grid. By leaving calories outdoors, humans are unintentionally operating giant bait stations, rewarding the local bears and ensuring they never leave town. We have to actively rewrite the maps in their minds. Coexistence requires removing every calorie attractant from our properties. The process starts with this specific setup: backyard bird feeders. State wildlife officials are clear that there is no safe season to leave seed or corn out. They act as the primary gateway draw, bringing woodland bears straight onto patios. Next is neighborhood waste. Exposed bins like these are a guaranteed target. Garbage must be secured in an airtight container inside a locked shed or garage, and only brought to the curb on the morning of collection. Barbecue grills require a thorough scrubbing after every use to eliminate lingering grease odors. High-value targets require heavy defense. Unprotected backyard chickens, loose pet food, and beehives draw bears instantly. They must be secured behind well-maintained electric fencing. Consistent property defense transforms a neighborhood into an ecological dead end, eventually forcing the animal to delete the area from its internal foraging map. Even with perfect property management, surprise encounters will still happen. If you step outside and find a bear in your yard, never run away or try to climb a tree. Sudden, fast movements trigger their predatory chase instinct. Instead, face the animal. Stand tall, raise your arms to make yourself look massive, and speak in a calm, commanding voice. From a safe distance, break the standoff by deploying loud, unnatural noises, like an air horn or banging pots and pans, while continuing to slowly back away. True coexistence requires humans to maintain rigid, uncompromising boundaries to keep wild bears wild and our communities safe.